There are more slot machines than ATMs in this country.
Jackpot!
And government-run gambling is scooping up tons of Canadians' cash, $13 billion a year. To give you an idea, Alberta alone earned more from gambling last year than oil and gas. So who's gambling big?
From 15% to 50% of gambling revenue comes from that 1% to 4% of problem gamblers.
Addicted gamblers can register in a program called self-exclusion, a common program at casinos designed to prevent people from getting inside and feeding their addiction. But are casinos really willing to bar the hand that feeds them? Mark Kelley and his team at the Fifth Estate went to find out. Their investigation included undercover work at several casinos.
Okay, Mark, so how does self-exclusion work when it works?
Well, when it works, yeah. Well, it's a voluntary program. So if I feel that I have a gambling problem, I go to the casino and I say, I want to be put on a list to ban myself from going into that casino. They'll take my picture, they'll take my information, they'll feed it into their computer system. Now, it's supposed to work in other provinces. Sometimes it's something as rudimentary as having a binder at the door, and security is supposed to say, excuse me, Mr. Kelley.
You look like this guy?
You're that guy, and
Okay.
you're not allowed in here. Clearly, it's a porous system. Here in Ontario, they've actually got facial recognition. So it's supposed to, these cameras should identify me when I show up at a casino. Security should come over and tap me on the shoulder and say, excuse me, sir, you have said that you want to be voluntarily banned from the property. Could you please leave the property? That's how it's supposed to work.
So how did you test whether it is working?
Well, that's what we wanted to know. We wanted to know just how badly do they want to keep problem gamblers out, the people who would volunteer to be on the self-exclusion list. So we had one of our producers put himself on that list. He went to the OLG, Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation. They took his information, they took his picture, they put him into the database, and then we waited a week and then we sent him out to see, well, what would happen if he actually showed up at these casinos to play. He went to 1. He went to 2, he went to 3, he went to 4 different OLG properties in one day, sat down and played the slot machines. Nobody at any point came over to him to say, excuse me, sir, you're on this list and you shouldn't be here to play. I mean, they really rely on the money that's coming in from these.
An inherent conflict, right?
It's a conflict of interest.
They want to prevent problem gamblers from feeding their addiction. On the other hand, if they don't feed their addiction, the money doesn't come in.
Let's put this into perspective. Here in Ontario, the OLG spends $50 million a year to deal with problem gamblers. They spend $333 million a year promoting and advertising with their casinos. This is an important stream of revenue that's coming in there. And yes, they do have these programs. Yes, they do have these policies, but they appear to be pretty porous. And when we spoke to gamblers, they considered that these programs are really pretty much a joke. What they want more than anything is their money in these casinos.
So what do the casinos say when you say, look how easy it was for us to walk right in?
They say that there's no system out there that's foolproof. They say that it's up to the person, that they don't want to be policing these casinos, that would create a bad environment.
People are asking them to police it.
Exactly, and they're saying that they need to be protected from themselves. So there's a solution, and just a simple idea, and think about it. If you put yourself on a banned list, how about showing your ID at the door when you come in? I mean, if you look young, they're already asking you to show ID.
Right.
But why not everybody come in and show their ID? And then they'd say, oh, excuse me, Mr. Kelley, you're on the banned list. You're not allowed into this property. It's something as simple as that could be brought in if they really wanted to do this. They're doing this in Europe. Plenty of casinos. It works very well, and it's decreasing the amount of problem gamblers that you have on the property. They're not doing it here, and they're choosing not to do it here.
Really interesting. Thanks.
Thanks, Diana.